bit about timing chain tech. 4-valve secondary timing chains. I get questions literally every day, 2, 3, 4 times a day about, do I need a better chain? The issue really is, for the most part, yeah. Any performance application, the better chains are always a good idea. Of course, if you have a stock chain like this particular one, this doesn't work so well. This came out of a moderate performance vehicle that came in broken some time ago, and we just kept the parts just as an example. So certainly a better timing chain is in order for all of these things. What a better timing chain will not do for you is you've got to make sure that your parts choices in terms of camshaft lift, springs, coil bind, all works together. This particular chain that was broken, once I took the engine apart and really analyzed what the issue was, the failure in this particular case was generated by coil bind more than anything else that I could see. A customer had put some high lift cams in it and springs, but didn't really pay attention to the details of, is this thing going to be in coil bind or not? So the coil bind was the issue, and that was the end result. So, and of course he asked, hey, what about the chains that you sell? Well, the chains that we sell are double the strength of the factory chain. They're not going to solve your problem if you got coil bind. You can still break one of our chains if you do that. So recently, probably in the last 2 or 3 months, I've had a few people call me about other broken chains, you know, aftermarket chains, and I really hadn't seen any issues with any of the chains and the products that we sell. But again, coil bind problem, you know, we talked with a customer about that coil bind issue, and he assured me not possible. So I said, well, why don't you send me the chain, man? If it's our chain or what have you, send it in, we'll look at it, and I'll give you a new one. You know, we'll try to solve the problem. So he sent it in, and of course I started looking at it. So that was this chain. So I looked at this thing, and I'm like, well, what's the chain telling me besides? Not a heck of a lot. You know, it looks like, you know, you look at it really carefully, it looks like the same manufacturer that we use. But one thing that stuck out to me was this marking. I don't know what the heck that means, but I know that it doesn't come from a manufacturer that way. So I looked at it and I thought, well, heck, it looks like our chain. What's the deal with this thing? So I took it and I put it on the gram scale, and I looked at it, because dimensionally it was pretty close, but it wasn't the same chain. Although side by side, you know, if you look at it, man, it sure looks a lot like the same chain, but there are some really, really subtle differences that you can see. Like the pin on this one has a little punch mark. Pins on ours don't. I called the guy and I said, hey man, I hate to inform you this, but you know, this isn't our chain. And he said, well, I thought everybody's chains were the same. All of them are created equal, which, to be honest with you, I thought they, relatively to what was on the market and available to people, that they were. So I said, well, look, man, we didn't, you know, we didn't sell you this chain, but let me see what I can do to help you. So the first thing we did was figure out that obviously it's not the chain that we sell. So this one, after a little bit of research, you know, I did, and come to find out, yeah, it's marketed by some unscrupulous people that claim that it's the greatest, it's the strongest, it's the best chain, blah, blah, blah. Typical fashion, typical guerrilla marketing. But it goes in the junk heap with the other one. But I did have the second chain, so I thought, well, let me look at this thing. I didn't really see nothing wrong with it, and compare it. So I put it on the gram scale. You can see that's 221 grams. The chains that we actually sell comes from a premium line. We're the exclusive distributor of both products. One is made by Morse in Japan, and the other one is made by a company in Germany. Effectively speaking, a question that I get asked all the time is, which one's stronger? The answer is, based on my testing and tensile strength tests, it's the same. Two different manufacturers, but the same basic quality of chain. The Morse Japan chain is a little harder for me to get these days, so largely what we sell is the German chain. The German chain is the same chain that we used in the Ford GT that recently went 300 at the Texas Mile. And it's the same chain that I've ran every one of our 5-second passes in, so for whatever reason people really thought that the Morse chain was better. I didn't see that in terms of performance, so it is. So you can see this chain, even though it's made by the same people that made that chain, it's not the same chain. So if you've got a lightweight version, you don't have the best chain available on the market. You have a inferior product that's the second best chain on the market, maybe third behind the other one. So then I said, well, let's have a look at the Morse. Here's the Morse chain, same piece, 240 grams. So as you can see, all chains are not created equal. Even though they have the illusion of being the same chain, even though they're marketed as supposedly the greatest chain on earth, that says it ain't. So which engine and parts do you want to use? You want to use the best chains, or you want to use the broken chains? It's up to you. Not all of these chains are created equal, even from the same manufacturer.